Some moments in history are meant to be seen, celebrated, documented, remembered. But some moments, the most dangerous moments, the moments that reveal too much truth, too much violence, too much reality. Those moments are meant to be hidden, buried, forgotten. This is the story of one of those moments. A fight so dangerous that only 9 people were allowed to witness it. A fight so brutal that the records were sealed for 40 years. A fight so real that even now, decades later, the survivors refused to speak about it publicly. They signed papers, made promises, swore oaths, because what they saw that day, what happened in that small private dojo, was never supposed to leave those walls. Until now. Early 1970s, the exact date is still classified, even after 40 years. The location: a small private training facility, somewhere in Hong Kong. The kind of place that does not advertise, does not have a sign, does not welcome strangers. You need to know someone. You need to be invited. You need to be trusted. This is where the real fights happen. Not the tournaments, not the demonstrations, not the shows for cameras and crowds. The real fights. The dangerous fights. The fights that test everything. On this particular day, a challenge has been issued, not publicly, not officially, through whispers, through connections, through the underground network of martial artists who know, who understand, who respect the old ways, the way challenges used to be settled, before rules, before referees, before safety. The old way, the dangerous way. Bruce Lee has been challenged by a fighter whose name has never been made public, a Chinese martial artist. Traditional training, hard style, powerful, dangerous. Someone who believes Bruce has strayed too far from tradition. Someone who thinks Bruce's modifications, his Jeet Kune Do, his philosophy of no way as way, is disrespectful, heretical, wrong. Someone who wants to prove, in the most direct way possible, that the old ways are still superior, that tradition still works, that Bruce Lee, for all his fame, for all his innovation, for all his philosophy, is just a man, and men can be broken. The challenge is accepted, but there are conditions, strict conditions. This fight will not be public, will not be filmed, will not be discussed. Only a handful of witnesses will be allowed. Masters, instructors, men who understand what they are about to see, men who can be trusted to keep secrets. 9 witnesses, that is all, no more. Each one personally selected, each one sworn to silence. This fight, whatever happens, stays in this room. For 40 years, that is the agreement. 40 years of silence, only after Bruce's death, only after enough time has passed, only then. Maybe. Can the truth be told? The dojo is small, intimate, wooden floor, plain walls, no decoration, no distraction, just space, just fighters, just witnesses. The 9 men arrive separately, quietly. They know what this is. They know what they are about to see. They sit on the floor, forming a small semicircle, 6 feet from where the fight will happen, close enough to see everything, close enough to hear every breath, every impact, every sound, close enough to feel the danger. Bruce arrives. He is 32 years old, at the absolute peak of his physical powers. 140 pounds of pure lean muscle, zero body fat, every muscle defined, every movement efficient. He wears only black training pants, no shirt, no shoes, no protective gear. This is not a tournament. This is not a demonstration. This is real. He stretches briefly, not showing off, just preparing. His face is calm, focused. But the 9 witnesses see something in his eyes, something they have not seen before. Not quite fear, but respect, maybe. Awareness. This fight is different. This opponent is different. This is not for cameras, not for show. This is for truth. The opponent arrives, also Chinese, also in his early 30s, slightly taller than Bruce, 5'10" perhaps, more muscular. Not the lean efficiency of Bruce, but the traditional power build. Thick chest, strong arms, legs like tree trunks, years of traditional training visible in his stance, in his power. He also wears only training pants, also shirtless, also barefoot. He looks at Bruce, not with hate, with respect, but also with mission, with purpose. He is here to prove something, to defend something. He bows. Bruce bows. Traditional respect. But both know. In moments. That respect will be tested in blood. No referee steps forward. No one calls time. No one explains rules. Because there are no rules. This is the old way, the pure way, the dangerous way. 2 fighters, 1 space, until one cannot continue. That is all. That is everything. They circle each other slowly, testing distance, reading energy. The witnesses do not breathe, do not move. They understand what they are seeing. This is not sport. This is combat. Real combat. The kind that ends careers, ends lives sometimes. The danger is thick in the air, tangible, real. The opponent attacks first. A traditional straight punch. Fast. Powerful. Years of iron fist training behind it. Bruce slips it. Barely. Counter strikes to the ribs. 3 fast punches. The opponent grunts. Absorbs them. His conditioning is incredible. Bruce's strikes, which would drop most men, barely slow him down. They separate. Circle again. The witnesses lean forward. This is not what they expected. They expected Bruce to dominate, to show his superiority, to prove Jeet Kune Do. But this opponent, this traditional fighter, he is real. He is dangerous. He is not intimidated, not defeated, not backing down. The opponent attacks again. A combination. High, low, middle, traditional but fast. Bruce blocks, deflects, but not cleanly. 1 punch gets through. Catches Bruce on the jaw. Not full power, but enough. Bruce's head snaps to the side. The witnesses gasp, quietly, but audibly. They have never seen this. Never seen Bruce take a clean shot. Never seen him hurt. Bruce steps back, touches his jaw, tastes blood in his mouth. He looks at the opponent, and something changes in his eyes. The witnesses see it. The opponent sees it. This is no longer testing, no longer feeling out. This is war. What happens next? The witnesses will never forget, can never forget. Even 40 years later, when some finally break their silence, when some finally tell the story, they struggle. because words cannot capture it, cannot explain it. The violence, the speed, the danger, the reality. Bruce explodes forward, not with technique, not with philosophy, with violence. Pure, direct, brutal. He strikes the opponent 7 times in 3 seconds. Fists, elbows, knees. Every strike designed to damage, to hurt, to end. The opponent tries to defend, tries to counter, but the speed, the precision, the violence, it is overwhelming. But the opponent does not fall, does not quit. His traditional training, his years of conditioning, his iron will, he absorbs the punishment and counters. A massive hook catches Bruce in the ribs. The sound echoes in the small dojo like a baseball bat hitting a tree. Bruce's body folds slightly. His breath explodes out. He stumbles back 2 steps. The witnesses are frozen. They have never seen this, never imagined this. Bruce Lee, the legend, the innovator, the philosopher, hurt, bleeding, struggling, and the opponent, this unknown traditional fighter, standing, fighting, refusing to fall. This is not what anyone expected. This is not what anyone wanted to see. This is too real, too dangerous, too honest. They fight for another minute, maybe 2. Time becomes meaningless. Each exchange brutal, each strike meant to end. Bruce's face is marked, swelling visible, blood from his mouth. The opponent's ribs are destroyed, his breathing labored, his movements slower, but neither falls, neither quits, neither shows weakness. Then, the moment that will haunt the witnesses forever, the moment that will justify 40 years of silence. Bruce catches a kick, sweeps the supporting leg. The opponent falls. Hard. Bruce drops on him, knee to the chest, elbow raised, ready to strike down, to finish, to end this, and stops. The elbow, 6 inches from the opponent's face, frozen. Bruce's arm trembling with the effort of stopping, his eyes wild with adrenaline, with violence, with the proximity to ending another man. He holds that position. 3 seconds. 5, 10. His breathing ragged. His body shaking. The violence so close to being released. And then, slowly, he lowers his arm, stands, steps back. The opponent lies on the floor, breathing hard, ribs possibly broken, face unmarked because Bruce stopped. He looks up at Bruce and nods, slowly, with difficulty, but with respect, real respect, not the polite respect of tournament competitors, the deep respect of warriors who have tested each other, who have gone to the edge, who have looked into the void and stepped back. Bruce extends his hand, helps the opponent to his feet. They stand facing each other, both damaged, both bleeding, both alive. Bruce bows, deep, traditional. The opponent bows back, just as deep. And in that moment, the witnesses understand. This was never about winning. This was never about proving style superiority. This was about truth, about reality, about what happens when 2 real fighters, with real skill, with real determination, meet without rules, without referees, without safety nets. This was about finding the limit and choosing not to cross it. No one speaks. The opponent leaves. Quietly. He will never speak of this fight. Never claim victory. Never claim defeat. He simply returns to his traditional training. His name never revealed. His face never shown. Just another fighter, who on one day tested himself against the best and survived. Bruce sits on the floor. The 9 witnesses approach. Some offer water. Some offer towels. But mostly, they sit with him in silence. Because what can be said? What words capture what they just witnessed? The violence, the skill, the control, the choice, the humanity. Bruce asked them all, before they left, to never speak of this. Not for 10 years, not for 20, 40 years. After his death, after enough time has passed, after the legend has solidified, after people have forgotten that he was human, that he bled, that he struggled, that he chose mercy, only then, maybe, could the truth be told. And they kept that promise. All 9. For 40 years. Some took the secret to their graves, but a few, now old men, now at the end of their own lives, have begun to speak, carefully, quietly, not for fame, not for money, but because they believe, after 40 years, the world deserves to know that Bruce Lee's greatest fight was not the ones captured on film, not the ones choreographed for movies, not the ones designed to look good for cameras. His greatest fight, his most dangerous fight, his most honest fight, was the one almost no one saw, the one that was hidden, the one that showed not just his skill, but his character, his humanity, his choice to be more than violence, to be more than technique, to be more than legend. That is the fight only 9 people witnessed. That is the fight hidden for 40 years. That is the truth, dangerous, real, human, and finally, after decades of silence, revealed.